2021's The Matrix Resurrections was a long-awaited sequel that sadly failed to appeal to fans or critics, which could actually benefit The Matrix 5. In April 2024, Warner Bros. Surprisingly announced the early development of The Matrix 5, with some surprising news about the franchise. The series will be stepping away from its creators for the first time, with filmmaker Drew Goddard set to direct instead of the Wachowski sisters. While this may be worrisome to those who believed in the franchise's prior singular vision, there are undoubtedly aspects to be hopeful about. The best Matrix movie is still the first, which was released in 1999 to enormous box office success and critical acclaim and immediately transformed the action genre for the 21st century. It's one of the most influential movies ever made, though the sequels failed to repeat that success. The subsequent movies were released in 2003, completing the original trilogy to less than stellar response. In 2021, The Matrix Resurrections continued the franchise's downward trend, deviating even more from what made the first film so iconic. With that in mind, a fresh perspective going forward might not be so bad. The Matrix Resurrections proves a hard reset is the Matrix's best future. Since character returns didn't work in Matrix 4, Matrix 5 can easily start with a clean slate. The Matrix Resurrections wasn't a complete disaster, but it certainly was below the standard set by the original. The film received a 63% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an equally mediocre 63% audience score, signifying that viewers weren't keen on it either. The film was made on an enormous $190 million budget, yet only grossed $157.3 million at the box office. While this can be attributed to the slow return to theaters after the COVID-19 pandemic and a simultaneous HBO Max release, it's still a terribly disappointing turnout. However, the disappointment over The Matrix Resurrections actually opens up some doors for the franchise. While it will be strange to have a Matrix film without Keanu Reeves or Carrie-Anne Moss, it's better to move on to something fresh and new if the previous formula isn't working. The failed sequel means the Matrix franchise can transition more quickly to a clean slate, diving into new characters and aspects of the sci-fi universe. Having a fresh slate and offering something brand new is part of what made 1999's The Matrix such a phenomenon, after all. Resurrection's failure means 5 can ignore major lore changes. Matrix 5 can ignore the new rules set in Resurrections. Matrix 4 movie sequel Young Morpheus appear return how Resurrections. Ignoring changes to the lore established in The Matrix Resurrections may peeve some viewers, but there are many who didn't like the differences. The fact that far fewer audiences saw the fourth movie means they may be able to get away with going back on changes. There isn't as much pressure to stick to the new rules if no one was into them in the first place. The Matrix 5 is a considerable risk for Warner Bros. But could ultimately pay off with something fresh and spectacular.